You know that idea of a universal translator from science fiction, right? That awesome little device that lets you understand any language instantly? Well, guess what? It's not science fiction anymore. A quiet revolution has been happening right under our noses, and it is completely changing the way we as humans communicate with each other. Okay, let's dive into this. So, right now, as we speak, AI translation systems can handle over 200 different languages. And we're not just talking about the major ones. This is a massive slice of global communication. But here's where the scale just gets absolutely wild. Just one service, Google Translate, is processing over 100 billion words, not a year, not a month, every single day. That is an almost unimaginable amount of human thought and conversation being translated constantly. And get this, all of it happens in under 100 milliseconds. That is literally faster than you can blink your eye. So it's not just translation anymore. It's basically real-time conversation. So what does this all mean when you put it together? You take that huge language coverage, that insane daily volume, and that blink of an eye speed, and you get to a pretty staggering conclusion. For about 99% of the world's population, language barriers are, for all practical purposes, gone. And this isn't some prediction about the future. This is the reality today. So how on earth did we get here so fast? I mean, this technology didn't just pop up overnight. It's really the result of an incredible 20-year leap in technological progress. Okay, so let's walk through how this happened. Before 2006, we were in what you could call the pre-AI era. Translation was slow, it was expensive, and it was all done by humans. Then came early machine translation, and you probably remember how clunky and sometimes hilarious those results were. The first big jump happened around 2016 with neural translation, which made the quality way better. But the real game changer? That arrived in 2022 with what's called the NLLB revolution. That stands for No Language Left Behind. And it just absolutely exploded the number of languages that AI could understand. And this table really puts that acceleration into perspective. Just look at the speed column. We went from waiting days for a human translation to getting one in milliseconds. And the number of languages jumped from just a handful to over 200. I mean, it is just a staggering leap in capability. And to put it another way, when Google Translate first launched back in 2006, it supported just 2 languages. 2. Today, we're at over 200. That is 100 times increase in less than 20 years. That's the kind of exponential growth that has just quietly reshaped our entire world. So who's behind this incredible engine that's powering our new global conversation? Well, there are 3 major players who've really been at the forefront of this whole revolution. You've got Meta's NLB model, which again stands for No Language Left Behind, and it supports 200 languages across 40,000 different language pairs. Then you have Google Translate, the absolute workhorse, doing that massive 100 billion words a day. And of course, Microsoft Translator, which is a powerhouse in the business and enterprise world. Together, these 3 pretty much cover the globe. And, this quote from Meta's team really highlights what might be the most revolutionary part of this story. It's not just about translating English to Spanish. The NLLB model includes 55 African languages and a ton of others that were, frankly, ignored by technology for years. This is about digital inclusion on a massive scale, bringing millions and millions of people into the global conversation for the very first time. And the result of that focus is what you see right here. Because of this push to include so-called low-resource languages, these AI tools now cover over 99% of the world's population. That means nearly every person on Earth can get access to this tech, a lot of the time for free, right on their phone. Okay, so this is all really fascinating on a global scale, but let's bring it back down to earth. What does it actually mean for you? How does this technology show up in your life? Kind of like your own personal multilingual assistant. Well, let's start with travel. Picture this. You're in Tokyo. You don't speak a single word of Japanese. Instead of fumbling around with a phrase book, you just pull out your phone, you speak into it, and a perfect Japanese translation comes right out. You can point your camera at a menu and read it. That barrier, that anxiety that used to make travel intimidating, it's just gone. And in business, this is a total game changer. A small business owner in Kenya can now negotiate a deal in real time with a client in Korea. The playing field is just completely leveled. You're not limited by the languages you happen to speak anymore. Your market is now the entire globe. For education, this tech makes knowledge totally borderless.
A student in India can now take a university course that's being taught in French with real-time subtitles and translated materials. All of the world's knowledge is no longer locked away behind language.
And maybe most importantly, it's about human connection. You can now form genuine friendships with people online from completely different cultures, chatting back and forth seamlessly as if you both spoke the exact same language. It's really fostering a whole new level of global understanding. So, the crucial point is that these kinds of magical tools are already in our pockets. We have live conversation modes, camera translation for signs and menus, instant subtitles for videos, and we can translate entire documents with just a click. The science fiction future, it's already here.
With technology moving this fast, you really have to ask, where is all of this heading? And what does it mean for language itself? So, what does the roadmap for the future look like? Well, the next frontiers are already coming into focus. First, it's about expanding from 200 to all 7,000 plus human languages. Second, achieving true human-level quality and nuance. Third, making the technology so seamless it just becomes invisible. And finally, moving into what's called multimodal translation, where it understands gestures and tone and context, not just words. And if you look at the projections from experts, this future is a lot closer than you might think. You can see the milestone here for human-level quality. The consensus is around 2027. And then just a few years after that, maybe by 2030, we could be looking at a reality of near-universal translation. And that is the ultimate goal. Universal translation, a world where communication is never, ever limited by the language you were born speaking, a truly, truly connected global civilization. And this brings us to a final, pretty provocative question to think about. If a machine can translate perfectly and instantly, what happens to the human skill of learning another language? Does the incentive just disappear? Or maybe it just changes, becoming less about necessity and more about cultural connection? What do you think?